in GI, the most important thing is owning the data set, okay? Because there are a lot of information to gather. So the most important thing is owning the data set, like have a comprehension, okay, to what's right in front of you in a manner of how things are connected, especially in MSR. I attempted cementing in 2-3 days while I finished the concepts. So like the information that you gather from the concepts, if you don't do cementing, you will forget them. But when you do cementing, yeah, like you will memorize them without knowing. There is mentor and there is a 24-hour support. Like I'm a person that emails much, okay, a lot. So and I have a lot of questions. 645 is on my first attempt. It's a very good score.
Yes,
and I want to thank you for your help during my entire journey, and especially the motivation that you gave me.
Hello, everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another debrief session with eGMAT. Today, we have with us Marc, who scored a 645 on his recent GMAT attempt. What makes Marc's story all the more incredible is his inspiring 110 points improvement. So welcome, Marc, and a huge congratulations on your recent attempt.
Hello, and thank you for your help during my journey.
Yeah, thank you. I think we had the chance and the opportunity to work with you. And since I was your mentor, I do have a little bit insights into your journey and how did we go about it. But let's make sure that in this discussion, we try to deep dive into the nuances, which actually helped and led to that improvement. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Marc, why don't you give us a little bit introduction about yourself? Where are you from? And how did you decide to start on the GMAT journey?
Firstly, I'm from Lebanon.
Yep.
A country, like every day you face a challenge and a new crisis, but you need to stay resilient to like counter the world problems, and you can't stop your life, okay? You need to continue pushing, and you need to continue to learn, okay? This shows how eager Lebanese people are to learn and to improve themselves. I come from an engineering background. I'm from the Lebanese university. It's the only state university in my country. So how did I start eGMAT? I like search on YouTube for websites, okay, and and I found eGMAT to be the most cost efficient and the best and one of the best, okay. I won't be subjective, okay, and one of the best platforms to study for the GMAT course. So I took it. I started like in January, but I had a lot of challenges because I had university and a lot of exams. So I continued in summer and I persisted for 4 months. From July till more than 4 months. Okay, from July to December, then consistently, because diligency, okay, is the most important thing, and is the most important quality that you could have during your preparation test. And I remember, I don't know the name of the mentor, but like the introduction to eGMAT course was a meeting with him. We were several students, and he told us, you don't need to be smart, okay? You don't need to be a genius to achieve a good score on the GMAT, but you need to put on work. And I remember this example. It's like going to the gym. It's like going to the gym. You should train every day consistently, and of course you should have a smart preparation, okay? But don't worry about it. There is mentor and there is a 24-hour support. Like I'm a person that emails much, okay, a lot. So and I have a lot of questions while I started my GMAT journey, and like I could have scored better, but I got internet cut off during my test, but it's not a big deal. 645 is on my first attempt. It's a very good score.
Yes,
and
agree.
I want to thank you for your help during my entire journey, and especially the motivation that you gave me, okay, because it really impacts you. Why? Because while you're doing, you will see like fluctuation. It's not an increase, or a steady increase. You will see some dips in your score, but you won't realize that your time also affects your score, okay? It's not just your accuracy, because the GMAT is a test where it tests your efficiency and accuracy in the same time. It's not just
Yes.
accuracy. Okay, and
Yeah.
your test-taking strategy. Okay, so that's it, I think.
Yeah. Now, moving on, because when you took the first Mark, you scored around a 535, right? And
Yeah,
I have your exact scores here. You had a B79, Q77, and a D74,
yeah,
right? So when we look into those scores, we do understand that there was scope for improvement across the sections. And for
yeah.
the 645, you have actually really worked hard to make those improvements possible. Now,
Right.
talking about the two sections which really saw an incredible improvement is your quant and DI. In quant, you actually improve from a Q77 to a Q85, which is going from a 46th percentile to an 88th percentile. What a massive, massive jump. So,
Yeah,
when
thank
you
you.
look back at your journey, Mark, what were the key skills that you developed along the way that helped you foresee this improvement?
Okay, firstly and foremost, I had conceptual gaps. Okay,
Mm.
so I like solve them by doing the eGMAT course, okay, the course that targets the topics, okay, not just exercising, because you need to have a strong knowledge because they test you on everything during the test.
Mm.
But also I save time, especially in algebra. So with the base time saving, I want to add something. The semantic quiz is so important because it's like a test. It's a small test. It builds endurance because endurance is very important during taking while taking the mock test and
Mhm.
while taking the test. And I would suggest something because sometimes the quiz was interrupted and eGMAT signals you when you interrupt the quiz.
Yeah.
Because I had some issue with semantics, so
Mhm.
sometimes I would cut off my Wi-Fi so I could repeat the question that I spend more time on it. I don't suggest you to do it, okay? But that's it. In data, you should finish the quant and verbal section before going to data because data is the most difficult section on the GMAT as you should gather a lot of information. So you should read efficiently and there are some words like more, most, significantly. You should pay a lot of attention on it because, like, when you get an inference question or assumption, there are the most critical things to like pay attention on it, and especially to find the conclusion. Okay, and okay. So I'm talking about also the quality of the exercises that I did
Yeah.
is very similar to the GMAT, uh, and that's it.
Yeah. Now, since you mentioned about cementing quizzes, I was looking into your cementing quizzes, Mark, right? And you can see that this was the number property cementing where you have been scoring extremely well. These are the medium cementing. Even in hard, you were able to pull out a good show. Since you mentioned about algebra, I was looking into your algebra cementing and really phenomenal job done, right? How crucial were these cementing quizzes? You mentioned that they help you prepare for the actual test, but how did that work out for you?
Okay, so uh, like I attempted cementing in 2 3 days while I finished the concepts.
Mm.
So like the information that you gather from the concepts, if you don't do cementing, you will forget them.
Mm.
But when you do cementing, yeah, like you will memorize them without knowing. So I took notes like while doing the concepts and watching the videos in eGMAT's platform. I was taking notes, but I didn't choose them and I didn't either like read them because everything was in my mind. Okay, I read them before like 1 or 2 days of my exam, but like it didn't add anything to my knowledge because everything was stuck. Okay, and I remember then when I paused my preparation because I had some exams. I was done. I finished the critical thinking section. Okay, I revised just one week, 1 week and a half, and everything that I learned like just came by magic. In my mind, I didn't forget anything. So cementing is a very important process while you prepare for your exam.
I think you followed the stage one, stage two approach very diligently and almost did it for the entire course, be it verbal, quants, and DI, and it worked out fairly well for you, right?
Yeah,
Talking about the DI, because you were mentioning that, there are specific cases that you have to really focus in DI. So I was looking into your DI course as well, and we do know that in DI as well, you had a very significant improvement. You improved from, a 45 percentile to an 84 percentile at this point, which is almost double. Right. So when
yeah.
we look back at your DI journey, because I know, Mark, DI is something that when you also started doing, you were enjoying a lot. and you
Yeah,
were learning a lot of new things. And I could see that from verbal and quants, DI was slightly much more comfortable to you while you were
yeah,
doing the course. And the grades also showcase that you were doing extremely well in this course.
yeah.
Right. So, what were the changes that you observed in DI? Because what was your technique previously when you took the mock? And after doing the course, how did you get a structure to solving the DI questions?
Okay. In GI, the most important thing is owning the data set. Okay, because there are a lot of information to gather. It's not, and you should have a certain speed and strategic, and you should take notes strategically. It's not like copying, because I had it. I just like it's not just in TI, in reading comprehension. I was just copying the text, or taking no. I was taking a lot of notes. I was wasting a lot of time. Okay, so the most important thing is owning the data set, like have a comprehension, okay, to what's right in front of you, in a manner that when a person asks you about anything or any data, okay, and how things are connected, especially in MSR, okay, how the three tabs are connected. Maybe you'll tell yourself, no, the question is so difficult, it won't come in the GMAT exam, but no, the GMAT is really, really difficult. Like I had a practice test. Okay, it was quite easy, but the GMAT is not easy. Like, okay, so I was quite surprised by the level of my GMAT exam, because I was expecting it a little bit easier, maybe. That's it. So in data sufficiency, you only need the quant concepts, and if you're doing good in quant semantic, data sufficiency is like you'll only learn a strategy, okay, like solving, like starting by seeing the first statement and then the second statement and then the two statements together. Okay, this strategy helped me a lot, because like while I did pretty good during my first mock test on data, but I wasn't applying a certain strategy. It's like I had chance. Maybe. I guessed some answers. Okay. So strategy is the most important thing also while taking the exam.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right, right. Now, Mark, moving on to the mock phase, because I understand that, once you were done with your verbal quants DI, you started taking the sectional tests and the mocks. So, what were the challenges that you faced in your sectional tests and mocks? Why don't you walk us through that?
Okay. During my sectional test, actually, I didn't know how to convert my ability to the test, to the sectional test. I didn't know why. Okay. The first thing is to know how, like, when to skip a question. It's very important, because there are questions that are really tough. Like 805 plus question, you need to skip them. Okay, especially you're not if you're not good at solving this type of question. Like, I'll give an example. I wasn't very good in word problems. Okay, so I tend to skip them more than, for example, number properties or algebra. Okay, so you should have also a very good time management, and this skill you will develop it while only doing tests. You can develop them by just solving exercise. So the course helped me, like, doing exercise in an on-time manner, doing like while learning concepts, and doing it in a time manner, and learning time management during my during taking tests, sectional tests, and mock tests.
Yep, right. And I feel that, while initially it was a bit of a struggle for you managing your time, especially in verbal and DI.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you say that, you started letting go of questions, so what would be was there a particular strategy or timing that you would keep in mind? After that, you would let go of question if need be?
Yeah.
So, what was the timing that you would keep in mind, which will tell
Okay.
you that now it's time to let go, it's time to move forward?
Yeah, I will explain it with an example. Okay, so while taking the test, like the first 5 to 7 questions, I was pretty good at it, solving them in 1 minute. Okay, so in the new GMAT, you should always keep in mind that you can review 3 questions. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so in the eGMAT mark, I know how much I will spend in each question. So when I spend more than 3 minutes, like in the 3 minutes or 2 minutes and 45-second benchmark, okay, and I didn't yet come with an answer, okay, don't get yourself fooled. But yeah, I have a little bit to go, and then I'll solve it. Okay, so just skip it, and if you have time, you get back through it when you finish your sectional mark. This was my strategy. Okay, personally.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. Yeah.
Yes, and I think it worked out well for you because once
Yeah.
you started learning how to let go of questions, I think you were able to complete the test as well as your score started improving eventually.
Yeah. Actually, I completed my GMAT exam. I finished the Quant section before reviewing the questions that I skipped. I finished the Quant section 15 minutes before the time, or 13 minutes. So after reviewing, I spent like 10 minutes on a question. I had plenty of time reviewing. So yeah, this is very important. But
Yes.
instead of like waiting and solving the question and rushing through the last question, no, just finish your test and come up and review your question, because you can review as many questions as you want, but you can only change the answers. So
Yep.
so if you aren't sure, just guess it, and you'll
No
come back
problem.
after it. Yeah.
Yes, right. So talking about, since you've already started on the test day experience where you mentioned a bit about your quants, why don't you walk us through your test day experience? What was the sequence that you followed? And while giving the test, did you get a nudge that things were going in the right direction?
So firstly, okay, during the test, I had a sequence, like I started with Quant, then data. I took a break and then went to verbal section. And why I did choose that strategy, because you know, the sequence that you choose can impact a lot of your score, especially because there is the endurance. Okay, your endurance and your strong points will affect this sequence. Okay, so this is why I chose this section. And like while training on the eGMAT, I tried a lot of different sections. I tried Quant, Verbal, and GI. For me, I can't let data insights for the last section because it needed a lot of energy and a lot of thinking. Okay, and Quant. Why my first section was Quant? I think because it was like a warm up to data. Okay, and then I take a break, and data is a connection between Quant and Verbal. Okay, so this is why for me it was good to take it in the middle between the 2 sections.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it.
And what about your test day experience? So when you were giving the test, how many questions did you bookmark in each of the sections, and what were your strategies while on the actual test?
In Quant, I bookmarked 3 questions: the second, the 15th, and the 21st. The second, I converted to a correct answer, but the 15, like after the test, I realized what was my error. Okay, I was pretty surprised, but you will be a little bit like stress will impact your especially when it's the first time taking the test, so stress will impact your score. Okay, so so it's not a big deal. In data, I finished the test on time, like 30 seconds before time. Yeah, like in data, you need time. So I didn't rush through questions, but it was the toughest. Okay, and it needed time management. Okay, like when I went through the verbal section, I finished the section before 5 minutes. It was pretty easy. The critical reasoning, I was like answering the question in 1.5 minutes. Like when I was pre-thinking my answer, I like 70% of the times, okay, I got the answer before, like I got the answer and I found it on the answer choices.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, Mark, when you look back at your journey, because like we discussed, it's been quite some months now. You started in July, mid-July or so, and right now we are in December. So, when you look back at your journey, what would be those key learnings that you would want to share with the other GMAT aspirants?
Like in terms of what?
In terms of your maybe some test taking skills that you learned, or something that you learned along the way that you would not do it if given a second chance.
Okay. What I would not do is studying one day and the other day like take a break, or studying only 1 hour a day and think that, oh, I studied for the GMAT 1 hour a day for like 3 months. Yeah, it would be completely enough for me to achieve my score. No, it's not like that. Yeah, like I was saying, you should maintain a certain pace and not just like study 1 hour a day. Like, you should put more hours. And okay, and there is one more thing also while studying. You shouldn't, like when you're in a concept, okay, when you're learning number properties, you shouldn't go study verbal and then go back to quant. So just stick with one section and finish it. Don't pause between lessons. I tend to like pause between sections, and you wouldn't grasp a lot of information from it. You should like sit in one sitting, finish like small section, each one alone, of course. Okay, and there is something also very important, because like everyone had something else to do. You don't have also only the GMAT. You should work on your weak points. You should work on your weak points, because people tend to only enjoy working on what they are strong, like on their strong section. Okay, I give an example. I enjoyed working on quant because, yeah, I'm good at quant. I don't like word problems, okay, but I like algebra. So I would tend to solve more problems in algebra than word problems. This is not a good strategy to do. Like, but of course, I changed my habits after that. Okay, so you should work on your weak points. So to like use your time in the most efficient manner.
Yep. Right. I think
And
you have,
also, there's also something very important. Work on a timed environment when you grasp all the knowledge, because working on a timed environment is very, very important. Don't neglect that, because when I started just only 1 month, okay, without the eGMAT score. I was like, yeah, I bought the official guide and I thought, yeah, I will solve all the book and I will go solve the exam. No, and in an on-time manner, because I thought it's like it's like the exams in my university. Just solving the question would get me that ability to do the exam, but no, it's not like that. It won't work like that.
Yeah. Right. I think, Mark, you have very well summarized, I think, the very crucial factors that one needs to take care from being consistent in your prep. I think that was one of your biggest learnings as well, that you learned eventually. But I think once you started maintaining the consistency, things started changing around for you, right? Secondly, making sure that you focus on your weaknesses, because just using the blanket approach where you solve a lot of questions also does not necessarily help. But, putting that energy on your weak areas, I think specifically really makes a difference. And so I think you have summarized it well. It was a great discussion. So on that note, I think I would like to take this opportunity, congratulate you again, and thank you for taking out the time today, Mark. And all the best for your applications.